What do I think of ZX? Well, I think it tried to add a lot of really cool concepts, some of which were needed. Like, there were things about it that felt like a natural progression for Mega Man as a whole series. There were things about it that felt like a natural progression, especially early on when they give me Model X. Like, fuck yeah. Everything about that felt good. That felt real good. But this whole thing with, like, changing forms, I don't hate it. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate it. I don't like it, but I don't hate it. From a casual perspective, if I were to care about the lore of this game, which is hard to do because most of the dialogue is just stupid, but from a casual perspective like that, I think it's a cool idea, and I think they incorporated it fairly well. But it's not for me because of, obviously, my playstyle is to just dash and fucking throw lemons. So, I don't know, I can see it from multiple perspectives. As a game, like, if I were to replay it, I wouldn't really want to. I wouldn't really want to replay it. Now, to play NG Plus as Model X, yes, I would like to replay it. I don't know that I would like to speedrun it. I don't have the love for it like that at this time. Being open world with very, very minimal guidance, and normally in exploration type games, I don't really want the guidance. I like to just figure it out on my own. But Mega Man's just not that in my mind. I can't justify going out and exploring every little thing, and it's hard to explain. You know how the level format has changed. You know how it's changed compared to everything else before this. I want to compare it mostly to X series, though, if I may. And, like, in the X series, like, we could even just talk about X1, but any of them, really, except X7. I had fun exploring the stages that were presented. But they were just stages that were presented. Just like all the other Mega Man games, ever, except for this one. This one was this massive layout, like it wanted to try to be a Metroidvania, but it wasn't even capable because literally everything was locked behind key cards, not abilities. And that's just, I don't know. That's a cheap gimmick. It is. It's a cheap gimmick. Key cards have their time and their place, and Mega Man is not that. I'm sorry. It doesn't work. But they definitely pulled a couple of Metroid stunts here with the key cards trying to represent the Metroidvania aspect of this expansive fucking map. And when I say expansive, I mean, yeah, it's pretty fucking big. It is. It's pretty fucking big. But, I mean, whatever. I don't want it. I don't want it. They gave me a big map and I don't want it. Now, that's not to say that I think Mega Man can't be more open world. I think the execution of the idea was poor in this game, and it makes me not want to replay it. And again, I've been saying this for my entire playthrough. This is something that I think, after playing a few times, it would be alleviated. I think it would be alleviated for me after I play a few times and get to know where things are, what order to do things in. Like, it'll just click, and it'll be fine, and I'll hate it less when I get there. But just looking at it from a first time playthrough, casual playthrough, trying to care about some of the lore, those are my feelings. I don't think it's great. I think it brings some things the series really needed, but on the whole, it kind of missed the mark. I'm hopeful that ZX Advent will retain a lot of these new things, but execute them better. And I believe you and Elpis have both told me that ZX Advent is more linear, which is good in my opinion. I think I need a linear game after that. Final thought, I'm happy I played it. I'm happy I saw what it brought to the table. I'm happy I stuck it out and finished it. I'm not happy that I'm going to have to play it again, but I'm open-minded because other games in other series I didn't want to replay, but as I did, they grew on me. So this one might too. It might happen. It might not, I don't know, but it might fucking happen. We'll see. I regard it as harder than the Zero series. And the main reason that stands out, which is another thing that may go away a little bit with more playthroughs, is that like almost nothing drops health ever. There's just never health drops. Oh my god. There's never health drops, and there's still slight screen crunch problems, but it's at least less than the Zero series was. So I am happy about that as well. I mean, if I were to give it like a rating out of 10 points, I would give it, I guess, a 6.7. I think 6.7 would be appropriate for it because I don't hate the game. I liked a lot of things about it. It just left me with a feeling of, oh god, I don't want to play you again. The replay value is almost zero, in my opinion. Graphically, everything was great. Everything looked really good. The sprites were pretty crisp. The animations were fairly smooth for what it was. All of the different effects looked like they fit in for the, I can't think of anything in particular that didn't really fit in. It might be fun to not speedrun Buster Only too, like learning to menu in this game and not too fast might be fun. Oh yeah. No, I'm just giving my view on it based on my playthrough, which was of course Buster Only. So no, that's a good thing to bring up if anybody's just joining us and like, why is this guy shitting on ZX? I played it for my first time and I played it Buster Only. Keep that in mind. Replayability would probably jump tenfold if I didn't play it that way, and I'd probably give it a score closer to an 8. Not quite an 8, I don't think, but I can't really say. But no, that's a good point to bring up there, Fizz. Absolutely. I mentioned a lot of different aspects, and I didn't mention the fact that I am just speaking from a Buster-only perspective, because I don't know anything else. I mean, I just learned, well, I didn't even really learn, but Ninja told me that there's an overdrive button, and I'm just like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means. What the fuck is that? And the game probably told me, too. It probably did. It told me so much shit. I skipped a lot of dialogue yesterday. I did. I couldn't do it. That's another thing. Since we talked about so many other things, let's talk about dialogue real quick, and then we'll talk about music. Dialogue. Bad. Very bad. Now, I'm sure since we're on Twitch, we're gamers, a lot of us probably have some kind of idea about how translations go wrong, especially from Japanese. And knowing that, a lot of us probably realize already, yo, stuffing things with the raid. Thank you so much, stuffing, for that raid, sir. We're actually just about to wrap things up, but we are talking extensively about what I'm thinking so far of this. Well, not so far; it's done. But what my thoughts are on this game overall. To just basically sum it up, I've only played it once and only Buster Only, so my opinions are kind of skewed in some respects. I would give it a 6.7 is what I said out of 10. But anyway, the dialogue I think is really bad. I think it's poorly written, but I don't think the original was necessarily poorly written. Because as I was saying, a lot of us know, not necessarily know Japanese, but we know how things get lost in translation. We know that when they say something just really weird or seemingly completely unnecessary, they're trying to convey a concept, not a certain order of words, but a concept is what they're trying to convey. And when you go to translate it, that concept can only be conveyed through certain orders of words, and those can be impossible sometimes. So in English, the script for this game is trash. It is trash. The premise is okay, but the script is just horrible. The English script is just horrible. The ending had an okay script. That's it. That was it. The ending was okay. I am okay with the ending. The lesson they tried to convey at the end of it was rather positive, and it was brought out through character development. Even though it was explained at the end, it still was brought out through character development between the beginning and the end of the game. The character did develop. The character did learn things. The character's attitude did change, and it even had an effect on things. I mean, it definitely built the player up in a way that by the end of it you were going to take the moral of the story with you, and it had one. So that's cool. I give them points for that for sure. Last thing to talk about here, I guess, would be the music. The music, overall, I really enjoyed the music. It was mentioned last night by somebody in the chat. I don't remember who, but it was mentioned that it was a little too upbeat. And in some cases, I kind of agree with that. There were some songs that like they could have just been lower notes and been the same song, and I think it would have actually benefited from it because it would have fit the environment. It would have helped set the mood a little bit. Get that ambiance. But no, overall, I can't remember what songs were used where, but like most of the music, especially the first song that you hear, which is very upbeat, it's ridiculous. But first song you hear in the game when you get into the forest, it's fucking fantastic. It's playing in my head right now. Like I like that song. But let me think. Is there anything else we didn't talk? We didn't talk about level design. That's something that was on my mind for most of the game that I don't think I actually spoke about. But the level design is a little off. Now they didn't do so much of the same bullshit that they did to us in the Mega Man Zero series, where they were just like, drop down this hole. There were spikes there. They didn't do so much of that in this one, which I'm very, very thankful for. But a game not having a problem doesn't mean it's good. And I'm not saying the game is bad. Don't take that out of context. We're talking about level design. Their stages were, on average, pretty boring in terms of the layout. There were some that were really cool visually, but didn't have a whole lot going on in terms of the layout there either. Like there was a lot of just copy paste. There really was. There was a lot of copy paste, and some of that was really prevalent right from the start in the forest area. I mean, where you start the game at, if you go right or left, it's just flat for a while. I mean, you go like 2-3 screens of just flat, and then a little hill, and then flat again, and it's like, okay. Go along a little more, you might find a wall and have to go up it. If not, you'll find a door. It's one or the other. But I mean, granted, that describes a lot of things, but what I'm saying is it kind of doesn't matter in a way what area of the forest I'm actually talking about. I know I said where you start, but I don't have to mean that, because how about where I was loading that last mission from and having to run across the whole forest, and it's like you go down some walls, you go across some really long flat spots, and they are really fucking long, 2 or 3 screens. I mean, it's boring, and they copy and pasted a whole lot, and they did that in almost every area. Area D, that highway. I mean, what they didn't copy and paste directly from X1, because that was the highway stage from X1. It was more than that, but it was that. What they didn't just copy and paste straight from X1, they copied and pasted on either side of the highway. It was boring. What it did was, not only was it boring, but when it came to navigating, there he is, yo, Stuffin'. Thank you for that raid, sir. I guess you missed it when you walked in. I was telling you that we're basically just discussing final thoughts on the game based on everything overall, and we're almost at the end of that. In fact, we've been talking for, it feels like 20 minutes about this game right now after the ending. But anyway, what was I saying? Level design. Okay, so the problem with that copy pasting on either side of the highway there, like on the left side, they got one of those little platform enemies that raises and lowers, and he's a cannon. Okay. No, it's okay. Rated Daggett at the same time he rated you, and you were... Oh. Nice. That timing, though. So you got that platform, right? And there's a little drop underneath, and there's a door, and there's 2 instances of that. There's one on either side of this X1 copy-pasted highway. There's this same little room here that you drop down into and get into a door and go somewhere. Now, with the map being completely useless and the screens being basically copy pasted, there might be small differences, but they're very, very small. You're not going to necessarily know one from the other unless you played 100 times. So, like, that plus the map being shit means, how the fuck do I navigate? How do I know where I am and where I'm going? Like, there was almost no way. There was almost just no way to figure it out sometimes. Or at least it felt like it. It made navigation very overwhelming. And in my opinion, that doesn't really add to the experience unless there's a lot of things to go exploring and find. And as we found, there really weren't. So I'm sure there's more than I found, but I mean, I'm not sure that there's a whole lot. I don't think there is. I don't think there's anything game changing hidden in the game anywhere. I think they were probably really unimaginative. Then that could be just me being harsh, but I think they were unimaginative in that area. And the level design just did not help the overall presentation. And I guess we could talk about a couple more little points here. Since we were talking about navigation and the map, we might as well talk about the map. The map happens on the bottom screen, which I can switch to. That's the bottom screen right now. The bottom screen is essentially useless in this game, except at random times. And even at those random times where it actually does something, it still doesn't really do anything. Like, if I bring up the map, which I can't put, I don't think you can put the map on that screen, so maybe that's not a good example. We'll talk about the second screen afterwards. We're talking about the map here first. I'm sorry. The map, like, obviously you all know that anybody who's seen this game, they know the map's useless. It's useless. It tells you that this area connects to this area. Okay. How? Where? Do I walk through it? Do I walk, like, into the background into a door? Do I walk left? Do I walk right? I don't know. It doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't tell you really much of anything. It's useless. So, you know, again, open world wasn't executed properly. Made everything very difficult. The game's length primarily is from trying to figure out where the fuck you're going. And the final area, that's tough. Maybe it's not tough if you don't play Buster only. I don't know. It's probably not as tough. But that was really tough for me. That was really tough. I had to resort to save states to just fight the final boss over and over and over because we're approaching 1 a.m. here. Jeez. Okay, bottom screen. That was another thing we could talk about. Bottom screen. It's got like no use. Got like no use. I don't get why this is on the DS. I just don't get why it's on the DS. It could have went on. What year was this game? Was this game like 2006? I guess it could have went like on the Wii. Could have went on the Wii. Could have been a bigger game. Could have been executed better. Just my opinion, but I mean, you know, it could have been on something else. I don't know why DS was chosen. I don't understand. There is almost literally just nothing. There's just almost literally fucking nothing. So it's really weird. And there's things they could have done with it. There's things they could have done with it. Like have the map on there. If the map was going to be useful. You know. Okay, let's just come on over here. That'll be easier. Oh, cool. More green screen problems. I see, I have to calibrate some things here. All calibrated. No, I will fix that a little better after the thing. But yeah, that bottom screen, it could have had the map on it. It could have had like a weapon swap button on it. Not that I would have been using that, but it could have had that. It could have had the weapon swap button. It could have had form swapping. It could have had options like, you know, control stuff. Not that there's much reason to switch controls on the fly, but it's just stuff that they could have utilized it if they wanted to. I feel like there was no effort there. Anything else that we didn't talk about? Talked about the console it's on, which I question the reasoning, but it's okay. But yeah, overall 6.7. I don't hate the game. I don't love it. I love things it brought to the table. I wish it was better executed. And I'm hopeful that ZX Advent is going to give me a lot of what I felt like I was lacking from ZX. And if it does, then I guess ZX series will still be good, in my mind. And again, everything I've said shitting on this game, I'm not shitting all over it. I said good things too, but everything I've said, it was purely from the perspective of first-time playthrough, Buster-only playthrough. Don't know half the things that are in the game even still. So take it all as a grain of salt.